Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Demons Souls on the PS5. In this one, we're obviously going to be taking on the Gates of Boletaria. It takes a little bit of time. Hopefully we can get this done in 20 minutes. Before we set off, though, just want to go through a few things with you guys. Firstly, up in your settings just here, I want you to go through here and just make sure a few things are as we are probably going to want them to be. First, I like having the hood on, obviously. I take off auto-equip items. This is basically when you pick up a consumable from the ground, it will automatically put it into your use bar, and if you don't want it there, that can sometimes be a problem. In addition then, there's not really anything to change on the controller, but on the display, feel free to play around with the visual filters, but the bright one will give you an advantage in darker areas. So just bear that in mind if you're in a dark area and you want a bit of extra light. It's literally right there. You can use it to your advantage if you want to. I'm also not. I've set to vivid, just because I like the extra colours and stuff. So we'll see how that treats me as we go forward. And the other important one is to set your network offline. Now, in theory, this shouldn't matter for the first part of going through here because we are in soul form. So as you see in the top left, we now only get to have half of our HP. We will be able to boost that slightly to 75% once we get a ring as we go forward. But basically, there are two states of playing. There's the human form and the soul form. The human form allows you to have all of your health and basically activate the multiplayer side of the game, while the soul form effectively renders you immune to it. But obviously we sacrificed some health. There are some other connotations as well, and changing between the two forms affects something called world tendency. So if I bring up this just here, you'll see that we have the small moon and the small bit of dark in the middle, and that means we're currently in neutral world tendency. These can go either, I want to say it's 3 up and 3 down, so you can go to full light tendency and full dark tendency, and they will change the difficulty of the enemies, and at the extremities of those, so if you are maximum dark or maximum light, there will be some exclusive events hidden around the game. Now the reason being offline is important for this is because to make your world tendency go down 1, so 1 towards dark, you need to die in that realm in human form. And to make it go up, you need to either become human in that realm, or you need to defeat a boss, which actually makes you go human anyway, so it's effectively the same thing. Now, the reason being online whilst you're doing this is risky, is if you're trying to keep control of this, somebody kills you at an inopportune time, or something goes wrong, then obviously you'll lose some of the progress, and the items that affect this are quite rare. In addition, my understanding is, and I haven't tested this perfectly yet because I'm still kind of just going through the preparations for the walkthrough. I will test this again later on, and I'll probably pin a comment once I've properly tested it. In addition, if you are collected online as well, whenever you log back into the game, it will reset itself to the server average of whatever the world tendencies are. So you can effectively lose some of your progress if you're not careful. So basically, just set it to offline mode, and then you won't have anything to worry about. That's all I'm going to say. It took me 3 minutes to say that, I'm so sorry. And down here is a gate, which is a one such event. When we get this to pure white, we'll be able to go through that gate, and that will net us a few extra goodies over that way, so don't pull your hair out over that. I almost forgot. Turn around here, we go and get an item at the bridge. I have pulled my notes up, but I'm still not looking at them, because it's difficult not to look at the screen when it's a Souls game. Through this way. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better from the mic this time. For some reason the gain on it, which is basically what boosts the sound, was turned really, really high on the mic itself, which probably made the voice sound a bit off in the last one. Hopefully we're sounding all good now though. So I could like mention absolutely everything that's going on up here. I'm not the kind of person that really likes the sound of my own voice, so if there's not much to say, probably not going to say it. Now, of course, something probably to be said just here is just be careful coming up here. Try and be slow. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make is just rushing everything in Demon Souls, and that can be really tempting, particularly if you get like quite far into an area and then die, and you want to recover the souls that you've dropped. I get it, but just take your time. Don't rush. There's no reason to be taking risks. One up here. I think this guy can actually throw firebombs, so be careful of this guy. He obviously has a different element on his weapon, so blocking him, even with a 100% damage block shield, will not be effective because he sets you on fire. Now we can go ahead and spray people with... Okay, don't know what I did there. We can go ahead and spray people with magic in this area. There are some areas where they're particularly long and you still have to face the boss at the end of it. But the boss fight is actually going to be through there, and we're going to unlock some shortcuts anyway, so feel free to use up your mana points, you should be fine. If you're using a mage. In particular here, it's actually going to be a bit of an advantage for us. And so, here I can show you kind of the advantage of being a mage, right? Particularly as we can move while casting, which I didn't realise immediately when I first started playing. Just because in Dark Souls 1, being able to move, particularly at the speed that you're able to move when you're casting that spell, was not a thing. I should probably mention, don't jump down that hole. I did test it, you can't reach that platform that's down there, so just leave that alone. Off being grass. Let me pull my notes up here. I'll make sure I'm getting everything. Loot on platform, careful of doors and enemies. Oh yeah, so we have an enemy on the right, enemy on the left, so this is kind of a bit of a trick in here, so just be careful. Trying to ambush you. Just try and lure one out. Oops. There we go. I always think you should try and at least use like 1 or 2 of the spells. If you're not regenerating MP, then you're losing out. That's what I say. Seeing here, having the brightness on would probably be a pretty big advantage. In fact, let's test it, right? Let's test it. See, yeah, you can see way better in here. So I'm tempted to keep it on, but I think it makes it look a bit faded for the recording, so. So here we'll have a few enemies upstairs, but there's an item behind here, so we're gonna go and grab that. The glow is always dead luminescent in this game, so it's difficult to miss them sometimes, which I suppose is good. These actually take more than one cast, so just be careful. Or cast on one and then poke him. Then bring over the other. Again, the lightness of our armor is working to our advantage there. If you're in heavier armor, then they're both probably aggro on you at the same time. Getting firebombs is good. I recommend even as a caster saving the firebombs for the boss of this area, just because it makes him a lot easier. Firebomb up there. Careful of this guy. I can deal with you at range. Get a roll poke on. You got poked to death. Unknown warrior soul. I can't remember what's back here. I think it's weapon. Nailbreaker. Which I think is a parrying dagger. So if you're good at parrying or getting backstabs, because I think it actually has a high critical modifier. Let me see if it shows you. I've actually got 2. I think. Doesn't seem to show on there. I feel like it has a high critical modifier, so if you backstab or parry somebody, it does more damage. It sucks otherwise, basically. Fire boy. Sorry, I just touched my desk. That's probably going to be terrible. Right, so this point here, is kind of a naturally mean little bit. So directly above us is a firebomber, directly ahead of us is a firebomber, and if you just run steadily, it's likely that the firebomber will just hit you. So you kind of want to just like be kind of intermittent with your speed. Nope, still got me anyway. You're going to want to run straight past this guy and under here, so that we can deal with these guys. Be careful about getting hit near these barrels here because they're explosive. I'm trying to show without getting actually hit. But I guess it's past that a little bit, which is fine. We have an enemy out the side here. It's actually probably a good idea to parry this guy if you can, but I'm just gonna poke him a little bit. We've got a dude here. There's actually a pair, as you can see. Got a big shield, wasn't even wanting to block. That's fine by me. Something unusual about this game, or at least that I find unusual, is enemies in this game don't seem to drop their gear very much. I think there's one enemy which is like the fat guy that does, but most enemies don't seem to. So, here then, we want to start going up. I was going to say, I didn't see the border for a second. You want to start going up here, roll off to the side. And this is going to give us access to the Bastard Sword. Good sword if you want to go with like a physical mode for now. You can pretty much upgrade it to the Claymore later on, which is basically a better version of the same weapon. But for now, it's actually a fairly strong pick if you want to use it. I feel like we should fight that guy, but there's not really a need. So now I can go ahead and deal with this guy. And poke him up. I'm going to clear most of this way, just so I can show you an enemy, a specific enemy, but I feel like it's a bad idea to actually face the enemy, so we're going to leave it alone for now. Because basically it's a super hard enemy that's guarding a door that we can't open yet. There is a soul item next to him, so if you really want to go in there and pick that up, you can. But I'm not going to recommend it right now, so let me just show you guys. Got some half-moon grass, that's good. Let's take a normal heal here. So there he is right there. I ended up coming back here later on just to deal with him and see what he was guarding. But that's just a soul item over there. It's like 1,000 souls or something for this guy here. But there's a gate just to the right of him which will be opening later on. So for now, just leave it. We will come back for that when we're ready. I just kind of like it a little bit that there's reasons to come back to these areas rather than you just kind of complete them and then nothing happens. So we can get ourselves a cheesy hit in just there. As you can see, it takes a lot of health off him. You can try hitting him again if you wish to. But I always think from that point it's just better to get the backstab on if you don't whiff it. Oh. So as you can see, when I'm taking hits, I'm losing a lot of stamina. If you have the higher guard defense thing that I showed you before on the shield, it will take less stamina. So this way we're going to open up a shortcut, so don't worry about the fog gate just yet. And actually, I recommend not activating that until you're completely ready to get a lot of stuff done. There's a dude down there that once you activate him, he starts attacking some enemies. And every time you die, he will reactivate down there and start trying to kill the enemies again. And if he dies, that can fail a bit of a quest for us. I mean, I was probably slightly inaccurate there. These guys, well, he will blow himself up. That's all good. Makes me laugh every time. Just let those two do that. They're not going to do that every time for you, because if you're coming up the shortcut from the bottom, that's just not going to be the case, but it is kind of funny. But yeah, so we'll deal with Ostrava in a second, which is the NPC's name. But essentially, because you have to go through that way to get through some of the shortcuts later on, if you activate him and start doing it prematurely, then it can be a bit of a problem. So we're going to go ahead and break these. I think it's this one that's the key item that we need, which is the Jade. I want to look like the Jade Ornament. It's something quite bland in terms of naming, weirdly. But that's a quest item that we're going to give to somebody later on. Oh, it's not letting me lock on. Come on. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them down there, so if we can thin them out, it's a good idea. In addition, there is no plunge attack, so anybody coming in here from Dark Souls or later, don't be tempted to try walking off a ledge and trying to attack. It's not going to work for you. And that was me pressing attack whilst jumping off, just to show you guys it does nothing. So this is the Cling Ring. This is for you guys to make then. I don't know which one is technically better. So we have the Provincial Ring and we have the Cling Ring. So the Cling Ring will allow us, I can put this on to show you, allows us to have more of our HP back. The Providential Ring increases our item discovery, which is effectively giving us more grass right now. Now, I think the game is geared towards us currently not having the Cling Ring, so I recommend that we stick with the Providential Ring for now and continue getting more grass, just because I feel like having the extra heals is actually good for us. And more enemies will drop us Firebombs as well, which is nice. So we're going to go ahead and get this. We get the Ragged Set, some Spice, and we have the Jade Hair Ornament. So Spice is basically the same as grass, but for MP. Really only applicable in boss fights, in my opinion. You shouldn't really need it the majority of the rest of the time. But we can farm that stuff, so if you do decide that you want to use it, then feel free to. Although we can't farm it just yet. So now we can head back to the top of the tower. And we can get to the fog gate. I feel like this is actually taking me longer than I thought it was going to take. I thought we were going to be done by now. Maybe I'm just going slow. I don't really want the episodes to go over 20 minutes, so maybe we'll deal with Ostrava and then finish it there. So we're going to go through this way. Come down here. Now that is Ostrava down there. So once we activate him, he's going to start attacking all these enemies. Now he is a beast. He will defeat a lot of enemies on his own. But he's not impervious. I think it's mostly... There's two main things that you need to deal with for him. To make it so that he's not... He doesn't have too many threats facing him. We're going to deal with this guy. You'll see that once we've dealt with him, we end up coming kind of around to here anyway. And I suppose you could deal with that area from the back end and then let him walk through. But for now anyway, press the roll button to jump over here. And then we're just going to... Whoops. Oops, thin these out a little bit. So the main risks for him are the explosive barrels and the one blue eye knight.
A surprise indeed. Well, now that you are here, pray thee, fend off these Dreglings.
Let's go. There you go. So now he's going to start patrolling around. And fight loads of enemies. He would actually very easily defeat most of those on his own. So I don't know why he kind of acts all afraid of them. He's not patrolling yet, so I'm going to take advantage of that. So he deals with these simply enough. It's basically like 99% that he'll beat them. This thing though gives him some trouble because it's wielding a big two-handed weapon. So just blast that down with damage. Around this way, I believe it's the Scimitar. Yeah, there we go. No items in there, so we come over this way. And actually, if he does do that, like he has just done with us. Then definitely go ahead and come and deal with this all like this. Swords Lotus. I can't remember what that heals. It heals bleed, I think. Like, do you mind? Wow, wouldn't even let me get my shield up. So you have a bit of a decision to make here as well. As to whether or not you want to use firebombs upon these guys, or if you want to just take them out piecemeal. They only take one shot each for me, so I'm going to throw a load of spells at these guys. But there are a lot of them, so just be aware. So if they do start mobbing towards you, they can be damaging. But that's effectively left there so that we can deal with it. Now, the dangerous thing about those is if Ostrava walks down there, they'll actually blow the they can actually blow the barrels up, and this is one of the things that kills him if you're not careful. Missed my shoot the back stab because I didn't have a rapier out. That's fine. Dregling shield. Sharpstone. I wonder if that means we can upgrade the rapier again. I mean, I don't have anything else to upgrade right now, so maybe it is a good idea to actually upgrade the rapier. Never really thought about it. So that clears this bit out. And then we want to clear out this room just here. Known warrior soul. Grab you. Right, so that pretty much clears out his entire route, which is actually kind of nice. So we will go ahead and speak to Ostrava now, because that seems like a good idea. So the warning I need to give you is, basically, if you die between now... There's an item over there.
My thanks.
I'm going to have to go and get it now. If you die and then have to come back through this area, he will just patrol now. He won't wait on the top part. And so if he starts going around on his own, he can succumb to his injuries. And he's going to get that item that I missed at the top of that thing. I didn't realise it was there. Something I just picked up in the practice run, and sometimes it was just like soul items and stuff, and I was just kind of like, it's not really all that noteworthy. We'll go ahead and take this out. So as you can hear, quite a lot of enemies around here, so just be careful. Take advantage of the backstab. The good thing is we are at the back end of a fairly sizable ambush, as you guys will be able to see just over there. We'll clear it out in a second, but first we want to go up the steps on the right, so they can deal with these archers. There is a blue knight up here as well, so just be careful. We're around 21 minutes. So I think we'll probably finish off the Ostrava bit. We've got another NPC to see, and then we'll probably take a break. We're going to see some dragons. I've got this. Blue knight's coming around the corner. No reason to fight fairly, that's what I say. Whoa. Especially when you're doing that. Weirdly enough, if you poke him off, he survives the fall. So try to deal with him there. Give me that from the blue light. Offing grass. I wonder if they always drop that. Kind of nice if they do. So we've cleared to the top. Technically the path of progression is through this way, but we're just going to clear this little area, and then I feel like I can drop us off at that fog gate and we'll be good for continuing. Soldier's Lotus. Where did they all go? Thought it was supposed to be loads of enemies here. He'll run around in a second. There's going to be another guy just in here. Where are you? I don't really know where you even came from. Take a quick heal. Don't know where he came from. It's this guy I was expecting to fight. There we go. And then when you come back around here, then you'll see this is where we killed the other guys. This kind of completes the loop. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a merchant. You can buy yourself a few goodies if you wish to. There's actually nothing wrong with doing it if you don't want to kind of risk saving the souls. Means we can't spend them on leveling right now. You could buy yourself a few extra half-moon grass or some extra firebombs. If you fancy the longsword or any of the weaponry in here, you can do. I don't think any of this is any good for us, though. Yeah, that takes too much strength. So we've got a strength of 9. So you want the best shield that you can find with a strength of 9, basically. Ideally, we don't want to spend any levels on strength. So we're going to leave that. So I'm going to come around here, I'm going to grab this item, and then I'm going to end the episode so that we can go ahead and progress through the boss fog. Thief ring. Oh wow, that was incredibly important. Okay, that was really important for us to pick up, actually. I'm glad we came back for that. And so now, a ring that we should equip becomes a bit more obvious. Thief ring's pretty good. Cool. Well, I'll decide how I want to set the rings up, and I'll show you guys when we get back in the next episode. I shall catch you all shortly. Hopefully this has been helpful for you all, and I'll see you all then.